Hello everyone, my name is Yogesh. In today's video, I will explain about Python and Jupyter for data scientists and how easy it is to use it. I felt that a lot of people just use traditional PyCharm, Visual Studio Code, and then they really don't enjoy actually every bit what Python offers. So today I will be showing you the Jupyter. So by default, if you want to install Jupyter, just I will give you a simple shortcut. That's just search anaconda Python, and anaconda Python. When you install, automatically Jupyter get installed along with it, and then you just have to press Windows, type Jupyter, and you hear your Jupyter. Anyway, you just need to run it. So the first thing to understand is what is Jupyter. Jupyter is an IPython concept, like it's an internet Python. So it works on a web page, but actually in the downhill it works as a normal Python service. But the best part is here you can run each step by step. Along with that, you can write your own comments in between, so that the concept goes is you create notebooks on Jupyter. So in the notebooks you can make notes, you can highlight the data as you can see here, and then you can execute line by line. Give you an example, basic. So I just import pandas in my first line. Second line, I read one data from CSV, and the third line I want to, you can just see my output, and the fourth line I can do something. Now the thing is, if you are using a PyCharm, what you do is you generally make a complete program and run it, even though you execute it line by line. So everything is in console, so you don't see the output back again, so it becomes like very difficult to scroll in there, but it's very easy to scroll in here. And secondly, you can make a comments, and you can keep your visualization of next time whenever you will open this, you can say plugin, you can say this notebook, automatically you will see the same data. Along with that, when you share this notebook with someone else, as you have added your comments and everything, so it makes more easy for everyone to understand. So here, if you see, if I want to execute all the three line at once, I can do that as well. And if I want to execute line by line in a different one, that also I can do. So the thing is, here you can see the both the output are there, so it makes more easier for a person to read and understand. And it's literally, it will help you a lot. So starting with the Jupyter interface, first you go you can say file and create a new notebook, and then generally two things we will be using. One is code, and second is markdown. Markdown is nothing but a comment area. So if I go in markdown, if I double click on it, so here you can see this is my markdown. So here you see four time hash are there. If I make it single hash, it becomes bigger. So hash is for headings. One hash denotes a bigger heading, and small like four hash becomes the smaller heading. So it goes to four hash only. And then anything in between underscore becomes italic. Anything under this single quotes, which is above the title sign, with the title sign, it becomes more of a highlighted data. And then if you want to type anything, if you so BR is for breaking, means the next line. If you have to put the next line character, so it's a BR. And hyphen is to make a bullet points. So once it is done, you just press enter, and you can say shift enter, and automatically control enter, and it will automatically show you this one. Now after that, the concept is very simple. You type your line and run it. Now suppose you want to add a cell above this import pandas. So how you do it, you press escape and A. So the first shortcut is escape and A. So let me just write down shortcut to add cell above current cell is control plus A. Okay, now let me say shortcut to, let's say shortcuts. So to add a cell is this one. Now to add cell below current cell is control plus B. And suppose you want to delete the cell, the shortcut is control add, delete cell is control plus D. Means you have to press D 2 times, and once this is done, you just press enter. So now here you can see your comment is added. But now here again, the main thing is it didn't highlight it as a points. You can say a point. So if I need to make a point, I will just add a hyphen in front of it and just press enter. Now it becomes all bullet points. So this is a you can say benefit of it. Now if I want to make a you can say code, I will say code. So let us go through the example first. So first I included my pandas library, then I just read my data from a CSV, and then just I show my data. Now after that, suppose in case you want to reset a variable, you want to reset a particular variable, you don't want to reset all the variables. So if you say percentage reset, it will reset all the variables. But if you say reset underscore selective hyphen f and then mention the variable name, so it will reset that particular variable, not all of them. Now as I told, like as I was telling, this is for all the people, so for who are learning data science. Now the data frame is nothing but a table in, you can say, Python in a way. So I expect you to know a little bit about Python, but not much. If even if you know it, it's you don't know it, it's still okay. So the thing is, pandas is a library which provides a data frame into a Python. So data frame is nothing but a table where you can manipulate the data and read the data in tabular form. So the CSV is common separated document, which is just Excel file in a CSV format, and then we read the data. Now suppose you want to slice the data frame. Now slicing is a term used for, you can say, Python. Let's say you want to select first 10 records, or you can say the a range of records or a range of columns from a, you can say, table, or you can say a data frame. So in Python we call it slicing. Okay, so if you search on like get a subset of data from a data frame, you might get a wrong code or some wrong post. But if you say slicing of data frame, you will actually get a right get a right link from the Google. So the thing is, the term is slicing. So if I say I want to get first two records, if I just press enter, so if I just say 0 2, then again it's same. So the thing is, 0 colon is a range. So I want to say 1 to 10 I want to get, so I will get all the 10 records. Now if I don't mention this 0, by default it take it as a 0 kind of a thing. But if I say mention 2, so it becomes 2 to 2 to 10. So here is the index of the row, so by default it's taking on the index. Now suppose you want to get all the rows, but you don't want to get all the columns. So what you have to do is you have to mention simple column. Even if you don't mention the column, still it will work. But just I location is the you can say property for it. So data dot I location. What is I? I is index location. So I'm saying I want to get all the rows, but I want to get first 5 columns. You can say first. You can say from the second column, I want to have these 4 columns. Now everything is in index, so it start with 0. So if I'm saying 1, so I'm talking about the first name. So if I just press enter, so here you can say first name, middle name, last name, manager. So I got that. Let's say, let me put head at the end. So head is a function which is used to limit the data. If it's like a limit, so if you say you want to get 10 records, you can say head 10. But if you want to say I want 5 records, so you can just say by default the limit is 5, even if you don't mention it. So this is a simple concept. Now suppose you don't want to mention it as an index, you want to mention the column names. So that is also possible, but then you have to use LOC, not I location. I location is for index. But if you want to just use the name, you can say, I want to read all the data from, you can say data, where the location. So now first I am getting the 4 records from the second record, because okay, let me make it 0. So you can say the first 5 records, and then I'm mentioning the column name, whatever I want to get. So if I just press enter again, I can see I have my data. Make sense? Yeah. Now suppose I want to get a particular column, I can say data and then square bracket, I can just mention the column name or column index. Let me just add head here as well. So here you can see the best part about this Jupyter is you can see and run each and selective, you can say, step, and you can visualize what happened there. So in console, it becomes very problematic to just do that. Now suppose you want to filter the data. The filter the data is very easy. You have to say, get me all the data from data frame, where now the where condition you have to put into the square brackets. So first, and you also need a round braces if you are using more than one condition. So here I'm saying, get me all the data from the data frame where the column manager has value 2. So now here you can see I'm just mentioning data again. Why I'm mentioning data? Because right now data we are just querying. So inside it doesn't matter whether it's a column name or a string. So if I just don't mention it, it becomes like a string. Getting my point? This has become a string. So it need to know I'm talking about a column. So I'll say data column manager ID where it is 2 and the gender is female. Now if you want to simplify it like into more readable terms, you can make a, you can say manager IDs, and you can just put like this, and you can say where manager ID. So here what I did is I put my column manager ID into this manager IDs, and then saying get me all the data where manager ID is equal to 2 and the gender is equal to female. So if I just press enter, we just add hand, or I think don't think there will be much. So yeah. So here the record came. Now suppose I want to get multiple manager IDs where just not two, I want to get 1 and 3. So there is a method called is in. So I can just directly say get me all the data from data where manager ID is in 1 comma 2 comma 3. So I'm just passing a list here. Okay, make sense? Yeah. And again is in, and then again I can filter it out. Here I'm getting all the data, but suppose I want to get only first 4 columns, then I can easily say I location, get me all the rows, but get me first 4 columns. You can do from the second column, so first name, last name, and these things. Now suppose there are some shell commands of Jupyter. Now suppose you are working in a directory, so you want to read the data. So here what I did was I just said like I want to read this employees.csv. And why I was able to do that, because it lies under the same folder in my, you can say, Jupyter notebook. But what if you want to read from some other, you can say, folder? How you will do it? So there is a command, like suppose you want to see the files in the current folder, you say %ls, it will tell you what are the files in the current folder. Okay, and then suppose you want to go into the second folder, like say there is a test folder you want to get in, and in the test folder you want to read some file. So you can say cd test slash, and if you press enter, and if you say present working directory, it says test folder. And if it's a cd dot dot, it's like normal command prompt commands, and it will come back to the same folder. This is a variable for printing all the environmental variables if you need, and this is for history. So if you want to see what are all the commands you have executed, you can say percentage history. It will give you all the commands whatever we have done so far, and then you can export the command to anyone if you need it. Now suppose you are working in Jupyter and you find, okay, I want to install one new package. So how you do it is, so you will just say percentage pip install pandas, but here the trick is, in a lot of times it won't allow you to run pip from here. So how you can overcome is, there are two options. One is SC and SX. Both are for shell command. In SC you won't get the output back. In SX you will get the output back. So if I say run my shell command pip install panda, so if I just press enter, so it will take few seconds. So till the time you see the star means the command is getting executed. So here you see it ran the command. So from here itself you don't have to go to cmd, and you can say you don't have to get the data back again. You can say you don't have to install the package and come back into the Jupyter notebook. So you can do pretty much everything from the Jupyter notebook. So today it was very small session where I've just executed few commands. In tomorrow session there is a lot of amazing thing I will be showing you. The thing is, like, let me just show you an example. So the visualization part of it, like how you do a visualization out of it. So these are the pretty static visualization, but let me just show you. So suppose you want to see how many you can say employees work under a manager, and you want to generate a you can say your bar plot. So you can just directly say this one. Let me just execute one line, metal inline, so that now I execute it again. So here you can see it generated. Now suppose you want to see under which manager uh, how many people are, like who under which manager the team is getting the maximum average salary. So here you can see I want to group by manager ID, get me the salary, get the average of them, and sort by testing, and just generate a horizontal bar chart, bar. So tomorrow session we will be covering all this visualization, how you can play around it, and it will help you as a data scientist or a data manipulator. You will be able to visualize the data in pretty fast way. There are a few more examples which might find interesting, is like how you can cross generate a metrics report. Now let me give a simple brief about it. Let us cover metrics today, so it will be good for you. So in the metrics report, what is metrics is which gives you a horizontal, or you can say columnar fashion. So if I show you this one, so here you see a matrix called, you can say, gender. So I'm just having a data which has the transaction amount done by a gender and the card types. So suppose I want to generate a matrix. So what I will say is, I will say group by gender and date, and get me the sum of amounts. So what it will do is it will get you all the you can say average. So female on this day has spent this much money, female on this day has spent that much money, and then I can just say group it by like same gender, date, amount, do the sum of the amount, and do unstack. The moment I say unstack, what it has done is it made first column, which is a gender, as a column header. So male female become a, sorry, row header, and every other thing, other like the second the last element of the, you can say, group by becomes the column header. So I can see on this day total female spent this much, male spent this much. Now here one thing is missing is like you want to see the total amount, where what is the total of this date for both male and female, and what is the total of females for all these days at the last. So if you want to do that, there is something called as pandas dot cross tab, you can say, function. So if you do a cross tab function here, you can easily generate it. It's a cross tab report. So if you don't need this summation, then you can just do unstack and you will get your output. But if you suppose want the summation, then you can use a cross tab. And in cross tab, the syntax is very same. First you pass the, you can say, column which you want to group by, the row headers, then the, you mentioned the column headers, then you supply all the values, and the aggregate function we don't want to do a sum, mean, or anything, and margins equal to 2. If you don't say margin equal to false, if you do, it will be exactly the same output what previous has. But if you say margin equal to true, it will get you the summation of all the dimensions, both the dimensions. So female and male sum also, and male and female sum also, and then the total of all. So this is cross tab report. Now suppose you want to generate multi-level. So here what we are doing is we are grouping it by gender and the card type. I want to see female of which card type spend how much, and this, the concept is very same. The first is the group by for the row header. So now I want to do it with 2, so I will generate a list of 2. I have a gender and the card type, and then I'm saying like the column row header will be the date time, values is same, aggregate function is same, and if I just press enter, we get this data. So it's pretty much simple here. So generating this report. So as a data scientist, if you're using Jupyter, it helps you to document a lot of things, and then it helps you to, you can say, run each line by line, and then you can easily visualize any step at any time. So it gives you a lot of advantages. So if you have any question, if you want any help, you can just ping me in the comments, and I will help you and respond you back. And in tomorrow videos we will cover a lot of things about visualization. So stay tuned. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.